Sometimes when you are planting plants in your garden, the question comes, should you plant it in the ground? Should you plant it in a raised bed? Or should you plant them in the planters? Hi, this is Ruchi, and let's talk about the things you must consider before planting your plants. So, the criteria that you must consider are mobility, accessibility, your budget, how much maintenance you are willing to take, the availability of the space, and aesthetics. And there may be some more reasons too, but these are the things that come to my mind at this time. So, first, let's talk about planting in the ground. So, planting in the ground has its own advantages. The plants grow in their natural habitat and growing conditions. They get all the micronutrients and nutrients of the soil. And it is not expensive at all because all you have to do is dig up the soil and plant your plants. But there are some disadvantages also. So, first of all, when you decide to plant something in the ground, you have to dig up the soil. And if the soil has not been worked upon before, it may be really hard to dig it up. So, it may require a lot of effort to plant something in the ground if that is the first time you're doing it. Once you have dug it up and you have amended the soil, next time it's going to be easier, but in the beginning it's going to be a little hard. The next thing to consider is if you have any gophers in your area, because gophers, they make underground tunnels and they just eat up the roots of the plants. So one day your plant is growing happily, and the next day you come there and you see that all the stems on the top are lying flat on the ground because gophers have eaten away the roots. So the plant is basically dead. So if you have gophers in your area, either you have to put some net around your plants, or you better use raised bed or planters. Another disadvantage of the ground planting is the accessibility. It requires you to bend down and kneel down to work in the garden. So if you can't do that, then a raised bed or planter is something that you want to consider. Last but not the least is you can't control the environment of the ground as much, in the sense that there will be a lot of weeds growing around it. So you have dug up one area and you have planted your plants, but there will be weeds around it which will encroach in that area. So weed control may be difficult. Second, if there are some trees around it, there will be shade that comes on that area. So you have to think about that. Or the location may be just too sunny for some of your plants. So basically, it could be too sunny, too shaded, or a lot of weeds. So you can't really control all those things when you plant in the ground. So now let's talk about raised beds. So you can do raised beds two ways. One is that you create a box which is bottomless and just put it on the ground and fill it with soil and amendments. So basically the ground has been raised to, let's say, 1 foot. A second way is where you make the raised beds which are about 2 feet above the ground, so you can work while standing. So if accessibility is a problem, that's the best way to do it, because then you can work while standing. So the advantages of raised bed are they'll have better drainage because they are raised, so the drainage will be better. Better weed control because you have put good soil and there is no surrounding area from where the weeds will encroach. The soil quality will be better because you are deciding what to put in that raised bed. And of course, the accessibility, meaning you don't have to bend down to work in your garden. But there are some disadvantages too. For example, right in the beginning, it will be a big expense because you'll have to build the raised beds. And then over time, you'll have to maintain it because there will be some wear and tear. And also because it is raised bed, some soil will be drained away, so you'll have to add more soil. So that can get expensive. Another disadvantage is that you'll have to water it more because the drainage is good, so you have to water it more to keep the soil moist. And of course, the space will be limited because you're not going to build raised beds, everywhere. So there will be some specific places where you'll build the raised bed. So the space in which you can grow will be limited. So now let's talk about planters. So planters have all the advantages of the raised beds and some more. The biggest advantage of planters is its mobility. For example, you are growing something here and you feel that it's not getting enough sun, so you can move it to a more sunny location. Or you feel that it is too sunny, you can move it to a shaded location. So that's the biggest advantage of planters. And because you can move it, the other advantage is that if you want to display something at your front door, on your deck, in your porch, you can just take your planters and display them there. So you could have, let's say, 10 planters with various ornamental flowers or plants, and whichever are doing the best, you can display them at your front door, and the rest can wait here in the garden till the time they do well. So that's another advantage of the planters. But there are again some disadvantages. The biggest disadvantage of planters is the restricted size. So no matter what size you choose, you will be restricted by that size. For example, if you want mobility, you will probably have a 5-gallon planter or 10-gallon planter. So your plants are restricted to that area only, a smaller area. The roots will not go too deep, or they'll not have the space to grow too much because they are restricted by the size of the planter. And you'll have to water it more often because the soil is less, so it doesn't hold that much of moisture, so you'll have to water it more. So basically, there is no one thing that is good for all the scenarios. So you have to mix and match. For example, I plant all my shrubs and trees in the ground because they are perennials. It's a one-time effort. I have to dig it up, I have to amend the soil, and I have to keep fertilizing it. But I don't have to bend down every day to do something for these shrubs and trees. So all the shrubs and the trees, they go in the ground. Vegetables, I grow either in raised beds or in planters. Vegetables, they require a lot of effort. They are annuals, and you have to make sure there are no weeds. You have to look at them, water them properly. So bending down and working in the ground is harder. So I prefer raised beds for my vegetables. Now planters, as I said, I use planters for ornamental plants, and I have like 10 different planters or maybe 15 different planters in the garden, and whichever ones are blooming or they have good foliage, that's what I display at the front door, on my deck. When they are not looking that great, then I just replace them with different planters. So, and of course for indoors, it's all planters. So that's what I try to do. So I hope you got some ideas, how you want to plant things in your own garden. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. If you like this video, press the like button and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to share it with your friends and family. And I'll see you next time. Happy gardening. Bye.